Howdy, y'all. It's your favorite trainer with a belt buckle. Today, we're going to help you pass the CSCS 4th edition. We have bi-weekly Zoom calls, and our study guide will get you to pass the sucker 60 days. Get into the calls, go over the guide, and you're going to be able to become a successful strength coach. While you're at it, read the book, How to Become a Successful Trainer. We interview a lot of the top strength coaches in the world. Check out a sneak peek of our live Zoom classes. Comment, like, subscribe. Keep showing up. Looking at basketball. So let's do your needs analysis real quickly. So when we look at bioenergetics, what is the primary energy system that we're going to be in?
ATP, PC, and glycolytic.
Okay.
And some oxidative, depending on what position he plays.
Mm-hmm. So when we look at the bioenergetics of sport, it's always looking at the duration and intensity. So would it be unnecessary to do a ton of cardio for your basketball players? I think so, to a certain degree. I like to use aerobic training for more as punishment. Like you just absolutely get destroyed and you just were lackadaisical and not professional. Maybe you have them run a couple miles or something like that. But for the most part, you're going to stick to the most popular drill in basketball. And what is it?
Really just suicides or sprints as far as the course.
Suicides, you go to the free throw line back, half court back, free throw line back, full court. And they'll do, I know like we had a student in class who played for Arizona State and they call them 21s. So you'd put 21 minutes on the clock and you would do 21 sets. And you had to, you could essentially run it as fast as you can. If it takes you 40 seconds and you have 20 seconds of rest. If you did it at, half-assed and you did it in 58 seconds, then you have 2 seconds of rest, have to repeat. And that's a very specific drill to basketball because, those drills are, 60 seconds and then you rest and get back after it. So what are some common injuries that we're going to see in basketball?
I have ankle sprains, knee injuries, the ACL, the anterior cruciate ligament, stress fractures and foot and tibia, deep thigh bruising, and jammed fingers is what I have.
I get some contusions, and just look at in the NBA why people are out. Klay Thompson, Achilles, wrist, and ankles. Those are very common. Contact or non-contact. We can pretty much assume it's full body, a lot of hip extension, and that's what we're going to get into today. Looking at the actions, identifying the muscles that are associated with it, and mimicking those in sports. So preseason power emphasis, you got your warm-up, banded ankle flexions, extensions, 1 minute, 90-90. That's your mobility drill, right?
Yeah, because I have in here, he has a history of ankle sprains. So I have the banded ankle flexion and extension for a minute, just putting that out, and then the hips as well.
Now, since he has a history of ankle sprains, that would be a good time to do some type of, a lot of gyms or a lot of teams will have access to a bunch of shit. So like they could have like 30 BOSU balls. So you could literally get all the guys or girls on a BOSU ball, 10 body weight squats, switch, do some crossovers, have a ball, dribble a little bit, because what that will do is it helps with the injury process if you have athletes who've sprained an ankle. And there's been studies that will look at we did this with the prehab guys, and we posted that for the CSCS PREP, which is chapter 21. And they go over the benefits of unstable surface training when it comes to injuries. So you could have everyone do that. It would just be uncalled for to have them, do like a bunch of their core patterns on a BOSU ball. You don't need to do that. So good.
Yeah, and then those weeks, I just did a progression from the workout program I had originally for the off season. So this is kind of assuming that his ankle is stronger, his lifts are stronger. I mean, he got stronger during the off season. Now I was trying to get him ready for training camp or tryouts.
Right. So we're going to get into the workout here in a second, but just to give you guys some opportunities to think a little bit and from the business side of stuff. So with Josh's program right here, he could do this could be like 5 to 10 different YouTubes right there. And what he would do on the YouTube is type in warm up youth basketball or the specific group he wants to work with. And then in your YouTube, you can tag a location. So you could put Atlanta. You could put the like a hashtag essentially of the high schools that are around you. So if I'm a high school kid in that area, I type in Chico High and basketball drill, then that would come up and I could potentially find you. And you could do shorts on that. You got to remember that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And so people will go in there and they'll just, young kids will type in basketball drills, basketball injuries, ankle injuries. So you put that all into YouTube. Now, are we familiar with using YouTube, everyone, for the most part, or do we post on YouTube? Yes, no?
I have. Yeah, I have. I didn't know you can add a location on YouTube.
Yeah. So you can do that. You can also do, so like when you post, you do whatever video you're going to do, you upload it. So just take like one of the Brock classes that we did last week, add this in there. So then you put your specific name. So say sprained ankle basketball, and I'll do like show fitness to put my name on there, and then basketball warm up, high school b-ball. It's like you put those terms in there, have a description, and you can use a description just what you put in words, so you can copy and paste it pretty easy. And then when you go to next and you go down here, you go to no, but you can show more and you can put your location down here and the tags. So the tags would be like high school b-ball. This is what people type into YouTube. So you have to think for a second. Don't type in like concentric muscle actions of the hip. No one's gonna type that in. It's gonna be like a high school kid. What do you think? How to jump higher, increase vert. So you put those specific terms that the kid would be putting into the Google machine. And
Chris,
so
when you click on not made for kids, does it or made for kids, does it only, what does it do? I forget.
You'll have to double check, because essentially it has to do with vocabulary and like cussing as well and music. So I'm not 100% sure. I've always, which doesn't mean it's the right way, but I've always done the no, just because of some of our videos will have more of the vulgarity stuff. But then what the nice thing about YouTube is you can look at your analytics, and then you can see which videos do well, and okay, why this one do well, when they come off, okay, which ones are doing well over here. So there's a lot of cool stuff on there. So get back to Josh. Sorry for taking over, Josh. Let's go to there we go. Can you see us all right?
Yeah, I got in front of you too. So we were doing the 3 days, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I pretty much separated to one day being power, the next day will be strength, and then the last day will just be drills. So our first day, going to power, I had us doing box jumps, and I figured, what's a progression from a box jump or adding to a box jump for a depth jump. So trying to increase his speed as soon as he lands and jumping as high as he can onto the box. We'll do that for 3 sets of 5 reps. And I would say the rest, probably a minute or two, just pretty much gauging how he is. So I'll talk to him while we're resting. And see how I was able to do that just fine. Then we'll go into hang cleans. 3 sets of 5, 75% of his 1 rep max. Obviously, we're not trying to go for his 1 rep max here at 100%. So because we build, if you looked at the program prior, since he was a newbie, he started with kettlebell swings and he worked his way up. Now he could do a hang clean properly. So we're doing hang cleans there. So once we finish that off, we'll go into a push press, and then we'll superset that with a single arm cable row. And after that, we're going into some ice skaters. So he was doing ice skaters before. So this is like a progression to add to it. So I wanted some external rotation, kind of like a Hayden, coming off of Eric Cressy's little Hayden with external rotation stick, really landing that 1 foot just in case he has to step out of bounds or jump out of bounds or try to leap for a ball. Just try to be more explosive with the unilateral there. And then combining that with reverse Nordics into Nordics. And then if we have time for his burnout session, we'll just do a fast jump rope session 3 times for 1 minute.
Looking good. Okay.
So I would say that's day 1. Day 2, we're going into strength. Same thing, warm-up is going to be the same, just trying to get him loosened up. We're not going to spend a lot of time there. We're going into the barbell bench press, 10-8-6. Superset that with, superset that with a row, either a T-bar row or a dumbbell row, but definitely make sure the hands are pronated. Then follow that, we're going into a back squat with some med ball rotations. And then I have a military press here, followed by a lat pull down. And then the last exercise will be deadlifts into a line Pallof. He was doing Pallof presses before, so I wanted to do a different variation of the Pallof press. I just like Pallof press after a deadlift. I think it definitely supports the lower back. And then if we have time as a burnout, because I definitely want to get into the transverse plane, so we'll do a curtsy lunge. And follow into Copenhagen's to try to avoid any type of groin strain injuries during the season. So I have that for my strength.
The nice thing about this, the way that Josh has it lined up, is depending on where you do it. Obviously, if you're training out of your house, it's going to be a lot easier. But if you were to be somewhere and equipment's taken, you could just flip these around. You could do your back squats first and rotations because of the more explosiveness, and then you could get into your deadlift. I like how it has one, which is the push, and then you have another push down here. It's not back to back. So that's the main thing we'd be looking for. I wouldn't want to see a bench press, and then after that you go military press, and you end off on the squat and deadlift. So you do give some time. So if you're resting 90 seconds between, so you do your squat into your rotations, rest 1-2 minutes, and then you get up for 3 rounds. By the time you get back to your legs, it's probably been 12 to 18 minutes. So you are allowing for some recovery, which is nice. Then you can also add in there a B. You could make it, if you have the athletes and they want to do some curls or just like your bro stuff, lateral raises, as long as it's not going to compromise force production, that's fine. You can put that in there. And you can also throw in, if you have, so I got Josh, Tyler, and Katie, you could put like your things they suck at. So Josh, he needs to work on farmer's carries, and Tyler, maybe his cardio is a little off. So you could add some cardio for Tyler here. For Katie, if she's trying to recover from another injury, you could put that as another accessory in there. So you could tailor it for the individual. So they have their program, and it's okay, everyone's doing these two, but then there's a special thing that each one will be doing based on whatever their weaknesses are or what we're trying to improve.
And then for day 3, going into, some drills, I would say trying to progress from, the off season day 3, which I had box drills in the beginning. So I figured we can do like a speed ladder. And then at the end of the speed ladder, explode out kind of like into almost a sprint, or try to get into a full sprint within 3 steps. Once they get 20 feet, they kind of go around a cone and they backpedal back, and they're back to the starting point. And then I had also bound jump holds where now we're doing single legs, actually really focusing on just one leg and one calf, just to see how strong that or their ankles are. And the jumps and the depth jumps is not going to be that high. It's probably going to be maybe 5 inches off the ground. So they'll jump, hold it for 3 seconds, and jump down, hold for 3 seconds, and continue doing that with each leg. And then we'll also work on a lateral shuffle, because I know when you're playing defense, you got to be very, very quick, especially going lateral, left and right, back and forth from the court, especially defending. I figured the banded lateral shuffle will definitely add some resistance to his shuffle there. And assuming if all this goes well, we should have time for a little cardio burnout session. And then if we have time, we'll do some suicide sprints for a finisher. but it's more like a sport-specific cardio day,
Yeah.
really.
Mhm. So I like that. I wanted to talk a little bit with the speed ladder and address that.